Jai Shriman Narayan. Jai Shriman Narayan. Jai Shriman Narayan. I pay my obeisances to my spiritual master, Srimad Jagadguru Sudarshan Acharyaji Maharaj. I pay my obeisances to Lord Sri Ramanuj. I pay my obeisances to our Purva Acharyas. I pay my obeisances to our 12 Alvars. I pay my obeisances to Mother Lakshmi. And I pay my obeisances to Lord Sriman Narayan. I welcome all of you here physically at the Sri Narayan Dham in Durban, South Africa. I welcome those that's watching this discourse locally, nationally, and internationally. And I welcome in advance those that's going to be watching this discourse when it is posted on YouTube and the various groups from around the world subsequently. A special and an honored welcome to our two guests from Action SA. This is the second attendance of your organization at the ashram, and when Zanele resigned from the DA, I quickly sent him a message and I said, come to the ashram and meet. Unfortunately, he was lapped up by Action SA and he's gone very, very busy. And Zwakele, sorry. And we sent him, I sent him a message on WhatsApp and asked him what's the protocol to invite you. And I see through the channels you two have arrived at the function today. Thank you very much for leaving the comfort of your home and taking a drive down the steep driveway and attending this service. My purpose in this 23-day long service that we are having here at the ashram is social cohesion. But society around the world is also divided politically. So it's an impossible task if you're looking for social cohesion without political cohesion. So it is for this reason that I have invited all the political parties, the major ones. There's it's too many parties. How many, Jessica?
It's 6 in total.
No. How many are registered with the IEC?
246.
Okay, so impossible task to invite everyone. But we've invited those that have responded. I think quite a few have not taken our invitation, which is natural. So our intention is to galvanize religious and spiritual leaders around South Africa because we have been asleep for the past 29 to 30 years, assuming those that we put in position would do the right thing. So religious and spiritual leaders concentrated on our own disciplines, and when we opened our eyes, we saw that the demon has put his hand in the cookie jar. So I came to a realization that I must ask my counterparts in Christianity and Islam and Judaism to start shifting the consciousness in South Africa and getting involved in politics. There is that perception that politics is a dirty game and shouldn't be touched by religion. And I'm explaining to our religious leaders. I belong to the KZN Interfaith, and we've held deep discussions, understanding that religion and politics go hand in hand. Everything in religion is politically motivated. Even this cloth that I'm wearing was decided by politics, from which country the material will come, you understand? So although I'm sitting here religiously, my surroundings, this land that I'm preaching on, is politically motivated. These lights that you see flickering on the ceiling, politically motivated. They deal with China, so they dump millions of lights. When you come next year, it might not be working. It's a Chinese product. But it has been politically dumped into our country, and I had no option but to purchase it. You understand? So it is for this reason that we want religious leaders to have a conscience on who runs the country. We need moral and ethical people to vote into positions. And morality and ethical people will only come from a religious or a spiritual background in the main. So they will have this fear of this Supreme Lord snooping over the shoulders every millisecond of the day, and the hand can never ever veer into the cookie jar again. And it is with this motivation that you sit here today. And yes, you can discuss politics. I'm going to ask you to come back and you can discuss comprehensively what your organization is about, so that we give our viewers and those present here adequate information, so they do not become political analysts. We have enough political analysts. South Africans have now become political analysts. They don't go to the booth. They'll stay at home and they'll analyze the country without voting. So we have qualified political analysts that are churned through the universities. We want our common people to go out and vote. And we want to give them choice. We want to give them choice. A human being is unique. If you put 10 humans together and I take 5 types of apples, all not going to go for the same type of apple. So one might go for the Granny Smith, one might go for the red apple, one might go for the green apple, one might go for the mini apple, one might go for the large apple. So similarly, it's a good thing, but not 246. We need about 7 or 8 strong political parties. They have the uniqueness to what they are bringing to the table. We need to go into, we have 17 informal settlements around Reservoir Hills, just in my ward where I live, 17. Each of those informal settlements have 5,000, a minimum of 5,000 shack dwellers. 30 years after democracy and they're still running into the bushes for toilets. There's snakes, there's crime, there's poverty. That 30 years have not touched them. And it is a ploy of the ANC to continue bringing people from the farm and bringing them into all the wards and then giving them 350 rand and promising them that 350, register them as ANC voters, lie to them, and win all the wards. That is the ploy of the ANC, not from now, not from Cyril, but from quite a while now. In the interim, they face a whole lot of excruciating experiences in terms of weather, in terms of snake bites, in terms of mosquitoes, in terms of illness, right around me in Ward 23. And that is the microcosm of the country, is it not? And I'm sure Action SA has put into plan a manifesto that will be distributed during election. And as South African citizens, we must be wary of these manifestos because we vote for a particular party through the manifesto. So the manifesto becomes the legal binding document between a voter that voted for you and yourself. And the ANC's, I think, number one on the manifesto has always been a better life for all. So if we get courageous and if our lawyers come to the party together with senior counsel and retired magistrates, you can take legal action for presenting a manifesto and not as government. Opposition also present a manifesto, but because they are not in control of the money, their manifestos cannot be realized in full. But the government, the ruling party, if they provide a manifesto, then we should hold them accountable contractually, because this is how they got voted in, to make every aspect of the manifesto a reality. And we hope and we want to be different, and I'm sure my political brothers, I wear many caps. One is also a political cap. I'm sure my political brothers are aware that we will need a coalition, like-minded coalition somewhere along the line. And the coalition should be, and I've stated this on Sunday at our main function, and I'm saying it again today, that if we find 60% of commonality between the different parties, then that's enough to agree into a coalition. That 40% will be the uniqueness that will attract the different people to come together. So 60% commonality, 40% uniqueness, and a contract drawn before elections. Contract drawn before elections, and the term of the contract must be the term of office of government. Then we're not going to get that circus that's happening with coalition partners currently. Because right now, it's more about who's winning the coalitions with which grouping than about service delivery. And you can see that in the municipalities currently happening, even here at KZN. I think we're going under administration, I'm not too sure. But imagine if this happens at national level and we keep changing presidents every week. And this is the danger of the smaller parties. This is the danger of smaller parties. They have one seat can damage an entire country. Yes or no? Yes. If they sell the seat to the devil, then they're damaging the lives of our 59 million people in this country. So we have to take cognizance, realistic cognizance of all the political activities leading up to May 2024. We have to be rational. We have to be real. And we have to be honest. And I think Action SA, well, you are going to have problems along the way. Wherever there's more than 2 people in any committee, there's always going to be that human factor. So yes, I believe you did have some reshuffling to do, but notwithstanding that, Jessica, you met Mashaba?
Yes.
Recently.
Yes.
Yeah. So Mashaba was due to come and meet us here as well. We given the platform, and I'm sure he is going to, he will honor his commitment. And from my perspective, I think Action SA has everything in place. You just need to have the right drivers to drive it aggressively. I'm sure you're doing that. In this month of the Ramanujans, this is the saint on my left, and you can see there's a photograph of him next to that pink flower. That body is 1,940 years old. It is still in that position. It still has its flesh, the eye is still there. That body is existing for 940 years or more. Okay? And its significance is that God is absolutely great. And God can change anything at His will. He can defy science. I teach here at the ashram that God is the absolute scientist because the universe belongs to Him. And all the physics, all the maths, all the chemistry, all the plants, everything that is contained herein belongs to Him, so He has to be the absolute scientist. And He can make miracles happen wherever He wants. And South Africa is a country of miracles. We've always been fighting, but somehow we come out winning. And this is a small fight. The ANC is a very small party. ANC is a small party. They have 86 in the national executive. And 6 idiots make the decision that govern this entire country. 6 idiots is making 50 million people starve. I don't know how these guys even go to sleep, honestly. This current status quo of the country is just a few idiots. Cyril Ramaphosa, he cannot make any move because he has to keep every faction happy. And there's many factions in the ANC. And whilst his concentration is on the factions, the country is slipping through. Because he have to keep the balance. There are too many thefts have taken place, and you have to keep all the rogues with you. You understand? Simply this is what it is. I'm saying it in simple terms. He have to pacify all the thieves. Okay, somehow the deputy president left without any earthquakes, but in trying to pacify all the thieves, we have found ourselves in this position. And I hope Herman Mashaba and his team, I think you all have structures around the country now. You all are all in all 9 provinces. Yes? You all are in 9 provinces. Yes, I think you all have a routing, and I hope you use your infrastructure well, mobilize well, find the right coalition partners, sign the right contracts, and take the country to where it's supposed to be naturally, so that the citizens and myself can go back to doing what we were supposed to do. So I can call you up again, and you can now give us a comprehensive, detailed information on your organization. Thank you.
Spiritual leader, as I indicated earlier on, that my name is Moneni Pegiswayo, and I'm with my brother from Action SA, Simpiwe Kuzwayo. We have been tasked to come and share with you a few anecdotes about what the Action SA stands for. We also bring greetings to all of you. I hope I am not wrong in my pronunciation of Shramanaran. Salam alaikum. Salam alaikum, salam alaikum. Sanibonani, namaste. All protocol observed, my leader. We want to thank you for inviting us. We thank the foundation for inviting Action SA to this august celebration. As the spiritual leader has already indicated, that this is a celebration of a deep religious foundation which was founded by a very spiritual leader of the organization 1,000 years ago, around there. But allow me to quote one of the things that we believe, if we had and we practice those words, South Africa would not be where it is today. These are the words that were said by the father of our democracy, Tatu Nelson Mandela. A victory of democracy in South Africa is a common achievement of all humanity. Action SA, we bring from our president, Herman Mashaba, as well as our provincial leader, Uzwakele Mncwangu. The greetings to all of you as you celebrate your spiritual and your religious consciousness. We strongly believe in creating an environment conducive to all South Africans to practice their cultural beliefs and values in a united country and also united in diversity. Spiritual leader, the Action SA is actually founded on the principles of equality, honesty, as well as inclusiveness, as espoused in the country's constitution. It is the people of South Africa that participated in the questions that was put forward by the founding fathers of Action SA when observation was made that the country was veering off from its founding principles as enshrined in the Freedom Charter, that South Africa belongs to all who live in it. Whether we are black, whether we are white, whether we are an Indian, whether we are a colored, as long as you are able to trace your roots in the country called South Africa. Democracy and human rights are inseparable, as I indicated earlier on. But listen to what one of the former Prime Minister of India, Nehru, once said. That if you do not participate in politics, you are risking of being ruled by a moron, close quote. Exactly as my spiritual leader indicated earlier on, that you have political scientists, people who are learned, who sit in the comfort of their houses and start analyzing and say all sorts of things about what must be done and what should be done and what is not done. But when it comes to what matters most, voting, the majority of them are nowhere to be accounted. Then Action SA believes in openness and good governance. It envisages a society that promotes Ubuntu, a society that is aware of its rights and can hold government accountable. We believe that the people themselves are the masters of their own destiny, and that government should serve the people and not take anything from the vulnerable and the destitute. Contrary from what we see today, as the spiritual leader has already indicated, that how many of our the leaders that we trusted, have got their hands in the cookie jar today. And how many of those have faced the law and account for their deeds. The question is, why? Suddenly there is this ring of protection, protecting those that the society is fingering them for all the ills and the wrongdoings. Now, Action SA says, if we work together, if we join hands, we can limit those that we trusted who have become untrustworthy today. The question is that what we want to see happening next year when we go for the 2024 national and provincial elections? Perhaps the answer is no. We would like to install a government that is conscious of the people's needs, a government that will be able to put first and foremost the needs of the people. And we believe that it is the people of South Africa that are accounted around 59 to 60 million that can make that a reality. It is not a less than a million members of the ANC that can make that happen. But if we decide in order to register to vote and not go out and vote, the 100, the 1,000 or the less than a million members of the ANC, including those that the spiritual leaders refer to them as morons, will again rule us, the 59 or so people. So Action SA is making this clarion call that can we come together and fix our country? We have no any other country to run into. This is our country. If we don't fix it, who else is going to fix it? No one. The Chinese, they've got a particular intention. One, they want to be in South Africa and want to be in Africa. The Americans, the same, as well as other nations, the same. Our intention is to have a prosperous, a good South Africa where you and I and our children can live peacefully, can sleep peacefully, and can go around in the neighborhood without fear of being mugged and robbed. Where our ladies, our mothers and our children can go to town without any fear of being abducted or hijacked and raped. So that is what the Action SA is making this call, that enough is enough, but it is not enough if we are going to sit in our houses and not go and register to vote. And when we vote for the party that the spiritual leader or the leaders that the spiritual leader said are the people that should be able to take us out from the quagmire we find ourselves in today. Now, these gatherings brings hope to the hopeless, that tomorrow will be better than today. Action SA is making that commitment, that indeed tomorrow can be better than today, provided we all join hands to fix South Africa. May spiritual leader and the rest of us here continue to celebrate your Ramanuj. Sorry, my son was helping me to pronounce some of these words. I don't know how I've forgotten. Ramanuj, and engage in various societal activities. Do not forget that South Africa that we all dreamt about in 1994. This is the dream that is heavily facing numerous challenges, mainly poor governance and self-serving leadership. Action SA is making a clarion call to South Africans of all races, young and old, that let us join our hands and let's fix South Africa. Our leadership is doing a lot, not only to highlight the social ills bedeviling the people, but to work with the people to address them and to hold those responsible to account. The country is facing unprecedented high levels of crime, the biting unemployment, poverty, and the huge inequalities. Corruption is a cancer that is robbing people deserving basic rights that Mandela spoke about in the quotation I made earlier on. Yet those that are fingered in looting and corruption are yet to face the law and to answer for their deeds. These are the people who have lost moral consciousness, the same that the spiritual leader referred to. Those who are having their hands in the cookie jar. May the Almighty Lord continue to shower you with blessings upon blessings as you celebrate the origin of your faith and religion. I thank you.
Dana can. Yeah, Dana can do a solo art there.
You done?
Yeah.